Chosen one, congratulations, it's done, and you will never have to go through that again. Hell itself just filed for bankruptcy, and you are the reason the whole structure collapsed. They knew something about you that you were only beginning to realize. You were becoming untouchable, and now the truth behind every attack, every pattern, every perfectly timed wound is about to reveal exactly why the enemy is panicking. Let me show you the blueprint that was used against you, because understanding this changes everything. What you endured was not random suffering. It was engineered warfare with surgical precision. Every attack came in sequence. Every betrayal was timed. Every loss was calculated to break your will at the exact moment when most people surrender destiny. Here is how the operation functions. Abandonment hits first to isolate you from support. Financial ruin comes next to remove your options. Relationship destruction follows to eliminate everyone who believes in you. Health crisis arrives last to break your will completely. This is the greatest hits playlist. It has been used for generations. It works on almost everyone. Almost. Everything got invested in your destruction, because intelligence indicated you were the one, the chosen one who could break the entire system if you survived. So the most effective formula got deployed, the one with a success rate that has destroyed countless others before you. But here is what did not factor into calculations. Your spiritual DNA does not respond to pressure the way ordinary people do. When most people compress under extreme pressure, shattering occurs. But you are built different. When pressure came for you, instead of breaking, you compressed into something denser, something harder, something unprecedented. Where dust was expected, diamond was discovered, and that single miscalculation is about to cost everything that was built against you. Because when the most effective pattern fails at its designated termination point, something catastrophic happens. It does not just stop working, it begins devouring itself, and that process is happening right now. Now let me reveal something that was never meant to be understood. The weight you were carrying was not just your own. Your pain was disproportionate to your circumstances for a reason. You were fighting battles that did not belong to your lifetime, and that was intentional. Families pass down more than genetics and traditions. Unhealed wounds get passed down. Unfinished battles get passed down. Cycles of destruction that compound with each generation that fails to break them get passed down. Your bloodline had accumulated spiritual debt over extensive time, and someone had to carry the full load. Someone had to stand as the circuit breaker who could handle the entire electrical surge of generational dysfunction. You were chosen for that assignment, not because of weakness, because of strength sufficient to survive it. Every ancestor who failed to break the curse passed it down. Every descendant who would have inherited it was waiting for someone to end it. You were standing in the gap for everyone who shared your blood, past, present, and future. This is why your suffering felt massive beyond measure. You were not just enduring your own trials, you were carrying generational weight that had been building across time. And here is what caused terror in the enemy. If you survived this, if you bore this weight without breaking, the entire bloodline would reset. Every curse would lose its legal standing. Every pattern would forfeit its power to regenerate. What took generations to build would be dismantled in a single lifetime, through one person, through you. And while you were enduring this impossible weight, something was happening at the cellular level of your spirit that was never anticipated. Something that would transform weapons into your arsenal. Your spiritual DNA operates differently than ordinary humans. Most people who survive trauma carry it as permanent scar tissue that weakens forever. But chosen ones have a different metabolism. Your spirit automatically converts poison into medicine, weakness into authority, wounds into wisdom. This is alchemy at the cellular level. Every betrayal that should have made you bitter sharpened your discernment to supernatural levels instead. Every loss that should have left you fearful revealed reserves of faith you did not know existed. Every attack that should have weakened you exposed strength that made even angels take notice. The enemy kept pouring poison into your system, never realizing you were transmuting it into power. Enormous resources got invested trying to destroy you with specific forms of suffering. Ammunition got spent, strategies got exhausted, best weapons got deployed. And you know what happened? You absorbed it all and used it to upgrade yourself. Payment was essentially made for your transformation. Defeat got funded by those who sought to create it. The intensity near the end was not escalation. It was desperation. Hell realized time was running out. Intelligence showed something that caused panic. You were about to cross a threshold, a point of no return where you would become permanently untouchable. So the entire armory got emptied on you. Every demon with a grudge, every human agent, every systematic force under control. The reason it felt like war without relief was because that is exactly what it was. The concentrated fury of an entire kingdom that knew its window was closing. Timing was understood better than you understood it. Seasons exist when chosen ones are vulnerable, and seasons when invincibility arrives. Your dark season was the final window. If failure occurred then, another shot would never come. But one fatal miscalculation occurred, and that mistake is about to change your life forever. If you felt called by this message, hype this video so other chosen ones like you can be reached. Fighting occurred with finite resources against an infinite power supply. That was the fatal error. Every weapon deployed was met by grace that multiplied to match the intensity. Every strategy executed was countered by wisdom that expanded to meet the challenge. Victory appeared certain because the wrong metrics were being measured. While your visible life was under attack, you were ascending in invisible dimensions. Each assault that failed to break you elevated your spiritual frequency, higher and higher, until weapons could no longer lock onto you as a target. Think of radio waves that cannot affect receivers tuned to different frequencies. That is what happened to you. Attacks started passing through you without impact. Not because weakness occurred in the attacks, because strength increased in you. Your endurance literally rewrote the laws governing what could touch you. The same voices that once devastated you with a whisper now sound like static from a distant station. The same manipulation that once controlled you now feels like obvious theater. You developed divine immunity. Your spirit began producing antibodies against the specific forms of suffering that once destroyed your peace. Now your system detects manipulation before the manipulator finishes forming strategy. You sense toxic energy before it can pollute your environment. You recognize deception while it is still wearing its mask. This is not trauma response. This is supernatural intelligence forged in fire. The experiences that once blindsided you became your early warning system. What used to slip past your defenses now triggers alarms in your chest. The entire enemy strategy depends on surprise attacks. But surprise is no longer possible for you. Your spirit scans constantly and rejects automatically what does not belong. And here is what causes terror. This immunity is permanent. No going back exists. You have crossed into a dimension of authority that cannot be reached by former weapons. But there is more. One specific moment changed everything. The moment that still haunts those who attacked you. One moment existed that changed everything. You might remember it clearly, or it might be buried deep in your subconscious, but heaven and hell both remember it. The moment that sent shockwaves through every dimension. You had been pushed to the absolute edge of human endurance. Every resource was depleted. Every support system had collapsed. Every reason to keep fighting had been systematically destroyed. This was the checkmate moment, the place where calculations guaranteed you would finally surrender. Centuries had been spent perfecting this formula. It never failed, but then something happened that was not in the script. Instead of collapse, eruption occurred. Instead of surrender, defiance manifested so pure, so powerful, that it stunned both heaven and hell. You did not just refuse to quit. You declared war on defeat itself. In your weakest moment, you became the most dangerous version of yourself that had ever existed. That declaration did not just save you, it rewrote reality. The spiritual laws governing your existence shifted permanently in that instant. What once had legal access to your life lost its credentials. What once could drain your energy found its connection severed. What once could manipulate your emotions discovered its frequency jammed. Your survival became nightmare fuel for the enemy. Not just failure, Haunting. What was done to you is not just remembered, it gets relived every time your name comes up in meetings. The confidence that once declared "this time we finally have them" has been replaced by something that torments endlessly, the undeniable memory of complete and total defeat. Every plot that got invested in backfired, every alliance that got formed crumbled, every prediction that got made was proven false. Now existence continues with psychological torment that never ends. Best weapons were inadequate. Perfect timing was off. The foolproof strategy had a flaw that was never seen coming. The divine power living inside you got underestimated. This haunting created paralysis. Even if desire existed to attack you again, the memory of humiliation sabotages confidence before movement can occur. Prisoners of personal failure now exist, trapped in the echo of your victory, and this is where your true power begins. Now let me tell you what "it's done" actually means. This is not temporary relief. This is not a season of peace before another storm. This is permanent closure, a door that has been welded shut from both sides. When the divine declared your trial complete, that was not a pause button. It was a termination code entered into the mainframe of spiritual law. The forces that once had access to your life did not just lose permission, the ability to even request permission was lost. It is like a user account got deleted from the system entirely. Logging back in cannot happen. Password reset cannot happen. Creating a new profile cannot happen. The system does not recognize them anymore when attempts get made to interact with your file. You are not hoping this is over. You are not wishing it will not happen again. You are not crossing fingers that maybe this time the peace will last. You know it is finished because the evidence is already manifesting. The same patterns that used to trigger you now feel like distant memories from someone else's life. The same people who used to drain you cannot find the outlet anymore. The same circumstances that used to derail you now barely register as minor inconveniences. This is what graduation looks like. You have completed a course that most people do not survive. And just like you cannot go back to elementary education once you have graduated from advanced studies, you cannot go back to that level of suffering once you have completed this initiation. Your consciousness has expanded beyond the container that held those experiences. You literally do not fit in that space anymore. Your survival issued you a certificate of immunity that gets recognized across all spiritual dimensions. This is not metaphor. This is literal documentation in the unseen realm that declares you have survived exposure to specific forms of destruction and developed permanent antibodies. Every realm operates under certain laws. One of those laws states that once a being has survived and overcome a particular form of attack, that attack pattern loses its legal right to be deployed again. The same playbook cannot be used on you twice. The abandonment protocol cannot run again because you proved you can survive without external support. The financial devastation strategy cannot deploy again because you demonstrated you can thrive regardless of material circumstances. The relationship destruction plan cannot execute again because you showed you can stand alone if necessary. Each weapon used against you that failed to destroy you became a weapon that can never be used again. Disarmament essentially occurred through the act of attacking you. Every failed assault added another item to your immunity list. Now when your spiritual profile gets scanned, it shows an extensive record of survived attacks, and spiritual law prohibits repeating strategies you have already overcome. This is why you will not have to go through that again. Not because of hope, because of legal impossibility. The cosmic courts have already ruled on your case. The verdict is sealed. The sentence has been served. Double jeopardy protection is now in effect. Retrial cannot occur for crimes you have already been acquitted of. But something even more profound happened during your trial that needs to be addressed. Your entire identity got reconstructed from the ground up. You are not the same person who entered that season. The transformation was not superficial. It was not just about changing habits or developing better coping mechanisms. Your core identity was dismantled and rebuilt according to a completely different blueprint. Before your trial, your identity was built on external validation, on what people thought of you, on your performance, on your achievements, on your relationships, on your resources. The enemy knew this, So the attack strategy was simple. Strip away everything your identity was built on, and watch you collapse when you have nothing left to define yourself. When everything external got stripped away, what remained was your true essence, the part of you that exists independent of circumstance, the part that cannot be taken, diminished, or destroyed. Your trial burned away everything false about your identity and left only what is eternal. You discovered that you are not what you do, you are not what you have, you are not what people say about you, you are not even what you have accomplished, you are a chosen one, period. That identity exists whether you are celebrated or criticized, whether you are wealthy or broke, whether you are surrounded by people or standing alone. Your identity is now anchored in something that circumstances cannot touch. This is why future attacks will not work, because your identity is no longer vulnerable to external manipulation. The enemy cannot threaten what defines you anymore, cannot take what makes you who you are, cannot destroy what gives you value. Your identity is now housed in a dimension that exists beyond their reach. You walk differently now, not with arrogance, with certainty. You talk differently now, not with ego, with authority. You carry yourself differently now, not with pride, with confidence that comes from knowing exactly who you are, regardless of what is happening around you. This is the identity of someone who has been tested and proven at the highest level. One of the most dramatic shifts you are experiencing is in your relationships. Your trial exposed who was really with you and who was just around you. The pressure separated the authentic from the artificial. The heat burned away connections that were based on what you could provide rather than who you truly are. This was painful, watching people disappear when you needed them most, seeing relationships evaporate when you could no longer meet certain expectations, experiencing betrayal from people you thought would stand with you forever. But here is what you need to understand. That was not loss, that was liberation. Those relationships were built on false foundations, on transaction rather than connection, on what you could do for others rather than mutual value. Your trial revealed that these relationships were always conditional, and conditional relationships cannot survive in the dimension you are now operating in. You are being recalibrated to attract completely different types of connections, people who see your true value, people who want to walk with you rather than use you as a vehicle to get somewhere, people who celebrate your victories rather than feel threatened by your success, people who can handle your new level of authority without trying to diminish it. The loneliness you felt during your trial was actually protection. Space was being created. Old relationships that would have hindered your future had to be cleared out to make room for connections that will accelerate your destiny. You are about to meet people who will recognize you immediately, who will understand your journey without needing extensive explanation, who will match your frequency because your survival elevated you to where real partnerships exist. Stop mourning what is left. Start preparing for what is coming. The connections forming now will be based on your true identity rather than your temporary function. These relationships will have depth, longevity, and mutual empowerment. You will not have to shrink yourself to maintain them. You will not have to hide your power to make others comfortable. You will not have to dim your light to keep people around. Now let me put you onto something real. Destiny Engine. I built this because I was done watching chosen ones get dragged through betrayal, isolation, and attacks while their enemies strutted around unchecked. I want to help you accelerate the speed of your divine justice and step fully into your purpose, and the beauty of it, you don't even have to lift a finger. Destiny Engine takes their downfall and flips it into your rise. This isn't another meditation app. It's declassified consciousness technology, the same mind programming tools your enemies once used to install fear, competition, and scarcity, re-engineered to restore your sovereignty and align you with the cooperative, upgraded operating framework. It generates personalized sequences mapped to your divine purpose. The hardest thing you'll do is put on headphones, press play, and watch your enemies keep digging their own grave. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and turn everything they did to break you into fuel for your rise. Link in the description. Your relationship with resources underwent radical transformation during your trial. You experienced levels of lack, that forced you to confront every false belief you had about provision, every limiting mindset about money, every scarcity pattern that was operating in your subconscious. The trial exposed all of it. You were being rewired at the prosperity level. Your survival in conditions of extreme lack qualified you to steward abundance that most people cannot handle. You learned to create with nothing, to believe when circumstances screamed impossibility, to stand firm when everything suggested you should panic. Most people never develop this level of financial resilience because their breaking point gets reached long before yours did. But you pushed through. You survived when the money ran out, when the opportunities dried up, when the resources disappeared. You kept moving forward, and that survival rewired your entire relationship with provision. You now understand something that wealthy people with no character never grasp. Resources are not the source. You are not dependent on external supply to thrive. You carry the ability to generate, to create, to manifest regardless of what is in your account or your environment. This understanding makes you dangerous in the best possible way. Provision is about to flow toward you in ways that defy natural explanation, not because you are hustling harder, because you are aligned with supply that operates beyond earthly systems. Your trial disconnected you from dependence on human approval, corporate structures, and conventional pathways. You were being prepared to receive from heaven's economy, where abundance flows to those who carry authority. Watch what happens in the coming season. Opportunities will present themselves that you did not pursue. Ideas will download that generate income while you rest. Connections will form that open access to resources you did not know existed. This is not luck. This is alignment. You are finally positioned to receive what has been reserved for you since before your trial began. The lack you experienced was not punishment. It was preparation. You were being trained to operate in dimensions of provision that require spiritual maturity to access. Most people want the blessing without the building, the increase without the initiation, the abundance without the activation. But you paid the price. You walked through the fire. You earned the access. Your mind became a battlefield during your trial. Intrusive thoughts attacked constantly. Doubts screamed louder than truth. Fears projected worst-case scenarios on repeat. Anxiety tried to convince you that disaster was inevitable. Depression whispered that giving up was the only reasonable option. The mental assault was relentless, but you did not surrender your mind, even when it felt like you were losing the battle, even when the thoughts were overwhelming, even when the mental torment seemed endless. You held your ground. You fought for your mental space. You refused to allow enemy narratives to become your accepted reality. That resistance built something in you that most people never develop: mental sovereignty, the ability to observe thoughts without being controlled by them, to acknowledge feelings without being governed by them, to notice patterns without being trapped in them. Your mind is now a fortress that enemy thoughts cannot penetrate and establish residence in. This does not mean you never have another negative thought. It means negative thoughts no longer have authority in your mental space. You have become the gatekeeper of your own mind. Thoughts can knock on the door, but you decide what gets let inside. Feelings can present themselves, but you decide which ones get to stay. Narratives can suggest themselves, but you decide which stories get believed. This is mastery. This is the difference between being controlled by your mind and being the one who governs your mental kingdom. Most people are passengers in their own minds, carried wherever thoughts and emotions decide to take them. But you are the driver now. You determine the direction. You choose the destination. You control the vehicle. The mental torment you survived was actually training. Every dark thought you rejected strengthened your mental immune system. Every lie you refused to believe built another layer of protection. Every moment you chose truth over feelings developed your discernment. You were being forged into someone who cannot be mentally manipulated, emotionally hijacked, or psychologically controlled. This mental sovereignty changes everything about how you navigate life. You can now enter environments that used to overwhelm you without being affected. You can hear criticism that used to destroy you without being moved. You can face challenges that used to trigger panic without losing your center. Your mind has become a sanctuary that maintains peace regardless of external chaos. You are about to experience time compression, that will seem supernatural. What normally requires years to accomplish will manifest in months. What usually demands months will happen in weeks. You have entered a dimension where delay is no longer your portion, where acceleration is your new normal, where rapid manifestation becomes your daily experience. This is not wishful thinking. This is divine mathematics. The enemy stole time from you during your trial. Seasons that should have been spent building got consumed by survival. Opportunities that should have been seized got missed because you were fighting for your life. Resources that should have been invested got depleted because you were just trying to make it through. But spiritual law demands restitution. When the enemy steals, full repayment is required. Not just return of what was taken, compensation for the loss, interest on the theft, damages for the pain. Your stolen time is being returned to you multiplied, compressed, accelerated beyond natural possibility. You are going to need to expand your capacity to receive. Your old container was built for scarcity and delay. Your new reality operates in abundance and acceleration. What you thought would take a lifetime to achieve is going to happen so fast it will seem impossible, because it is impossible by natural standards. But you are no longer operating under natural limitations. Multiple breakthroughs will occur simultaneously. Several doors will open in the same season. Various opportunities will present themselves all at once. This is not coincidence. This is divine compression making up for stolen time by accelerating your timeline. Heaven is restoring your years by cramming decades of progress into compressed seasons of supernatural acceleration. Your immunity does not just protect you, it extends to everyone in your bloodline. Remember how you were carrying generational weight? Well, your victory created generational freedom. The children who come after you will not have to fight the battles you fought. The patterns that plagued your ancestors stop with you. You became the firewall that prevents the infection from spreading to future generations. Every curse that died on your watch is permanently dead. It cannot resurrect itself in your descendants. Every cycle you broke stays broken. It cannot reform in the lives of those who come after you. You did not just win your freedom. You purchased freedom for people who have not even been born yet. This is the magnitude of what it's done means. You are not just celebrating personal victory. You are standing at the intersection of past and future, holding a trophy that represents liberation for your entire lineage. The ancestors who failed to break free are vindicated through your success. The descendants who would have inherited the curse are protected by your sacrifice. Your name will be spoken in future generations as the one who ended it, the one who stood in the gap, the one who refused to pass the poison forward. Even if the full story remains unknown, benefit will be received from the reality that certain struggles simply will not visit them because you already defeated those enemies on their behalf. You are running on a completely different operating system now. The old software that governed your life has been uninstalled and replaced with upgraded programming. This new system does not recognize the old viruses. The malware that used to infect your peace cannot find compatible code to attach to anymore. You are not just protected from future attacks, you are incompatible with them at the fundamental level. This means the manipulation tactics that worked before do not even register now. The guilt trips bounce off without landing. The fear campaigns play to an empty theater. The shame spirals cannot find the entry point that used to get exploited. Your new operating system has built-in security features that the old version lacked, and these features update automatically based on emerging threats. Manual scanning for danger is no longer required. Conscious guarding against attack is no longer necessary. Your system handles it for you in the background. While you focus on building and creating and advancing, your upgraded security protocols are handling threats before reaching your conscious awareness. This is what it means to walk in rest while remaining protected. The enemy keeps trying to run programs that worked on your old system, but you are not running that system anymore. Commands return error messages, scripts fail to execute, access codes are invalid. Essentially, attempts occur to hack a computer that has been replaced with something that no existing tools can breach. When you survived what should have eliminated you, something transferred from the realm of trial into the realm of authority. The same energy that was being used to attack you got converted into power you can now deploy. It is like capturing enemy weapons on a battlefield and turning them against former owners. The force that came against you is now force that works for you. This is why you will notice that challenges which used to paralyze you now energize you. Obstacles that used to feel overwhelming now feel like opportunities to demonstrate what you are capable of. The very things that once drained you now fuel you. Your survival did not just end the attack, it reversed the polarity. What was negative became positive. What was destructive became constructive. You now carry authority over every realm that tried to destroy you. Financial attacks? You have dominion there now. Relationship betrayals? You govern that territory. Health crises? You hold the keys to that kingdom. Mental and emotional warfare? You are the reigning champion in that arena. Not only do those forces have to leave you alone, recognition of your authority must occur when you speak into those situations for others. This is the completion aspect of "It's done." The battle did not just end. The spoils got distributed. The territory got claimed. The authority got transferred. You did not just survive the war. You inherited the kingdom. Everything the enemy invested in your destruction became equity in your expansion. Loss became your gain. Defeat funded your promotion. Your survival activated ancient divine protocols that had been dormant for so long that even angels thought the protocols were theoretical. These protocols exist as contingency plans for when a chosen one survives the impossible. But activation had not occurred in generations. Your victory proved these are not relics. Active systems engage automatically when proper conditions get met. Suddenly aspects of divine favor that seemed mythological became operational reality in your life. Resources flow from sources you had not considered. Protections activate that you had not requested. Opportunities emerge that you had not pursued. This explains why your life feels supernatural in ways you cannot articulate. You are not imagining it. You are experiencing ancient systems coming online. Your victory established you as a spiritual embassy, sovereign territory, operating under heaven's jurisdiction rather than earth's limitations. Attacks against you are no longer personal conflicts. Diplomatic incidents now occur that trigger international response from heaven's government. Your enemies cannot approach directly without risking escalation that cannot be handled. You carry diplomatic immunity now. Guilt cannot maintain jurisdiction. Shame cannot prosecute. Fear cannot arrest your progress. These forces lost legal standing because you operate under different government protection. But embassy status comes with responsibility. You are a representative of heaven's kingdom now. Your conduct reflects on your sovereign government. Your victories demonstrate power. You are not surviving for yourself anymore. You are thriving as demonstration of what is possible for everyone sharing your citizenship. Your authority reproduces itself in lives connecting with your story. When people encounter your survival testimony, something dormant awakens. Hope thought dead begins breathing. Dreams thought impossible feel achievable. Destinies thought cancelled stir back to life. This multiplication is literal spiritual reproduction. Your victory contains seeds planting themselves in consciousness of everyone truly hearing your story. These seeds grow into customized breakthroughs powered by the same authority that carried you through. The enemy understands this multiplication effect. Heavy investment occurred in your destruction because knowledge existed that your survival would trigger chain reactions of salvation. Your victory became viral in spiritual realms. Breakthroughs spread faster than containment allows. This is why your story matters beyond personal experience. Every time you share what you overcame, you are planting authority seeds growing into other victories. Your landslide is still expanding, still gaining momentum, still triggering avalanches you will never know about. Your survival did not just end your suffering season. It rewrote your entire future narrative. The story written during your dark season predicted defeat, limitation, cautionary warning. Your survival forced complete rewrite, transforming you from cautionary tale to inspirational epic. The chapters being written now operate from different assumptions. Where old narrative assumed eventual breaking, new narrative assumes consistent overcoming. Where old story predicted limitation and lack, New story anticipates expansion and abundance. Where old plot expected you as warning to others, new plot positions you as beacon of hope. This was not editorial revision. This was fundamental restructuring at destiny level. Your victory proved the original story was based on false assumptions about your capacity, wrong calculations about your breaking point, underestimation of divine resources available to you. The new narrative operates from accurate information about who you really are and what you are capable of achieving. The most beautiful aspect is this is not optimistic fiction. It is prophetic reality. When you endured past inevitable breakdown point, you crossed a threshold existing in only one direction. No going back exists to being the person who could be destroyed by those methods. You did not just overcome circumstances, you transcended the entire category of suffering designed to contain you. Your survival transformed you into magnet for divine opportunities previously beyond reach. Your presence attracts breakthrough solutions, unexpected partnerships, supernatural favor with force operating independently of your efforts. What required struggle now flows naturally, because your frequency calibrated to success. People find themselves drawn without articulating why. Your energy broadcasts authority and peace simultaneously, an irresistible combination opening doors before you knock. Hell's subscription service is collapsing because of you. Now you understand the full scope. It was not just about ending your suffering. It was about exposing the entire business model as fraud. You did not just cancel your subscription. You corrupted the system. You proved assumptions false. You broke the unbreakable formula. Your journey through the impossible has ended. Your reign over the impossible has begun. The war is over. Chosen one. You won in a landslide. Hell filed for bankruptcy because of you. One person who refused to break when breaking was guaranteed. One spirit that compressed into diamond under pressure. One voice that declared war on defeat in the moment of greatest weakness. The entire machinery of spiritual oppression is smoking and sparking because you are still here. Still breathing. Still standing with a crown no force can remove. Every tear, every betrayal, every moment of agony converted into power, serving you for the rest of existence and beyond. You did not just survive the impossible, you became living proof that the impossible is temporary obstacle on the way to inevitable victory. The subscription is cancelled, the curse is broken, the cycle has ended, and you stand now in the beginning of a story so magnificent that heaven's angels watch with anticipation to see what you will do next. Congratulations, chosen one, it is done. You will never have to go through that again. Welcome to your reign, landslide victory. Welcome to your reign. Welcome to the rest of your unstoppable life.